Thanks everyone for coming to the Idea Factory. We've been doing this now for just a little over a year, and it's been a great success for us. This time we have Tom Dougherty. He's a business coach, personal coach as well. I think he probably does a little bit of everything, but business coach first and foremost. He's nationally recognized as one of the best business coaches in the United States and certainly in the Southwest. So I'll leave it for Tom.
Thanks, Andy. Thanks, Sean. Yeah, thanks for having me out here today. Yeah, thanks. It's kind of fun when you know like 90% of the people in the room. It's kind of different. All right, so we're going to skip the part about. So thanks for coming today. I know your time is like your most important asset, right? So you can't get your time back. So that's what they say there, but you can buy your time back. So it's one of the things we like to do with our clients is buy our time back. And business does not mean busyness. How many business owners are just working way too many hours, and then at the end of the day you realize, what did I really get done? What did I really get done to move me closer to my goals, right? So we're going to show you how to do some of those things today too. A little bit about us. Action Coach, we're the #1 coaching firm in the world. We're in 1,200 coaching offices in 84 countries. We're owned by Brad Sugars, based out of Las Vegas now. And we just celebrated in Thailand this last 2 weeks. We were there, our 30th anniversary. So we've been around 30 years, and that was a lot of fun. The food there is amazing. The people are really, really cool. If you ever get a chance to go, highly recommend it. So we coach over 20,000 businesses every single week around the world. A little bit about me. I'm a serial entrepreneur. I started off in a single family home. My mom made $17,000 a year to raise us. And in order for me to do things, I had to go out and get my own money. So I started off with, like a lot of young guys and gals, I had a paper route at age 11. I washed cars and I mowed lawns. So if I wanted to play sports, that's what I had to do. I went off to school to be a stockbroker. I went to San Diego State, go Aztecs. So if we have any Aztecs fans in here, probably not. But I managed $155 million in assets at Payne Weber, who got bought by UBS. And I started a company. How many people play paintball? Anybody play paintball before? Yeah, I invented the world's fastest shooting paintball gun called the Race Gun Half Block. And in 2007, I sold that business to National Paintball Supply. And I wasn't doing anything for about 6 months. My old boss from the ski business says, "Hey, I heard you weren't doing anything but surfing. Do you want to come work with me and launch some brands?" So we started a sales agency called Sports Gear West that I started. I launched a brand called Canada Goose. Anybody go anyplace cold where they wear down parkas with a fur hood, the red, white, and blue patch? And we IPO'd that business for $391 million. Went through cancer treatments, married my wife all through about the same time. Moved to Ahwatukee, became a stepdad, and lived in suburbia. For those of you who know me, I was a terminal bachelor for 40 years, living on the beach. And I gave all that up to move to Ahwatukee. And you say, "You're crazy." Well, if you met my wife, you'd understand. So love makes you do crazy things. So I'm a globally ranked coach. I'm number 20 ranked coach in the world. And I'm an executive coach. So I coach CEOs and VPs of all different kinds of companies around the world. And all the businesses here in Ahwatukee, and outside of Ahwatukee. So yeah, I'm a trainer and master coach. So I train the other coaches around the world. And also train them when the new people buy a franchise. So Action Coach is a franchise, and I own the franchise for Arizona. So Action Coach of Arizona is my corporate name. So can I be your coach for the next 1 hour?
Yes.
Yeah, let's hear it again. Can I be your coach for the next 1 hour?
Yes.
Okay, great. Because I can't coach anybody that doesn't want to get coached, right? So what we're going to do is I was polling some people before I came today. What am I going to talk about? Because business coaching is very, very broad, right? But the #1 thing I came up with chamber members is they want to make more money. How many people want to make more money? Raise your hand. All right, you're in the right room. If you don't want to make more money, I'm not sure what you're doing here, because this is about exchanging referrals and leads too, right? So, all right, so I'm going to show you how to make more money. And I have a special magic formula for making more money. And I'm going to give you the keys to the castle today, okay? So I'm going to give those to you. It's some of my best stuff. So first off, what is the definition of a successful business? The definition of a successful business at Action Coach is a commercial, profitable enterprise that works without you, right? How many people here would love to have a business that can run without you? Ah, right. Oh, there we go.
Yeah, I really want to run without my husband.
Same thing, maybe sometimes. So imagine that concept of having all, good morning, have all that time and freedom of time and money to do whatever you want to do. You guys right now might be stuck in your business, or you have a great business. You're good at what you do. I work with people that are good at what they do, but they want to own a great business. They want to own a great business that can run without them. So a true business owner is one that owns a business. Like, imagine you're an investor. Like when I buy Apple stock, I don't go there and tell them how to run their business every day, do I? No, I just want to reap the benefits. I want to get the dividends, or I want to see the asset grow, okay? So that's the same with a business owner. Otherwise, we just JOB it. What's JOB stand for? Just over broke, right? We buy ourselves a job. So we're working. How many people are working now in their business a lot more hours and stress than they did when they were working for the man? Right. So we leave our corporate job or another job, and now we're working longer and harder than we did when we're working for someone else. So we need to change that around, right? So this is what I help you do. To ultimately build a business can run without you. So remember to work on your business instead of in your business. So what's the difference? So when you're here today learning more about how to run your business, that's working on your business. When you're doing some planning, your 90-day goal planning, your 3-year, 5-year, 10-year plan, putting in systems in place, that's working on your business. When you're picking up the tools in your business, whether it's a briefcase or literally a tool or whatever it might be, then you're working in the business, right? So as the business owner, you need to move from in to on. It doesn't happen overnight. You got to go step by step, and there's a process for that, okay? So the big dream is, so I want you guys to stop and think and write it down. Here, I'll tell you what, if you don't have pieces of paper to write down, I'm going to pass out some papers. You take one of these and pass it around on that side, and you handle that side. Great, thanks. All right. So what are some of your big dreams? How much money does your business bring in revenue? Revenue, by the way, is just the ego number. Revenue is the ego number. Profit is the sanity number. Profit is what you get to keep. I know guys that they brag, oh, I got this $10 million business. I said, oh, how much do you get to keep? Right? And there are $10 million businesses, there's $100 million businesses that lose money, right? So it's all about how much you get to keep at the end of the day, the end of the week, the end of the month, the end of the year. Where do you want to live? Oh, we have lunch at this meeting, don't we? Okay. Where do you want to live? What kind of car do you want to drive? What schools are your kids going to? Where do you want to travel to? How much time are you working in your business? So how many people are working over 40 hours a week right now? Raise your hand. Right. Okay. How many people would like to get that down to 40 or down to 20, 5, 10, right? It is doable. The 4-hour work week. How many people read that book? Tim Ferriss, 4-Hour Work Week. It is doable, right? It is doable. So, okay. All right. What's it look like in 5 years? So if you can dream big, write down on your piece of paper, what does your revenue look like in 5 years? How much money are you bringing home? Write that next to it. That's the profit. That's the profit. That's the owner's draws and the salary that you're paying yourself. How much you bringing home, right? Where do you live? Hopefully you haven't moved out of Ahwatukee, or maybe if it's a dream, maybe you have, When you get married, guys, you have these dreams, right? And then you get married, what happens? You moved to Ahwatukee, right? Your dreams, your goals become whatever your wife's dreams and goals are, right? So that's okay if she's got good goals. So that's all right. So that's all right. All right. What kind of car do you drive? How much money do you have in investments? Where do you like to travel? What's your family enjoying? How much are you working? So we how many people are empty nesters? No kids at home now anymore. Yeah, a couple of us. Yeah, a handful. Okay, great. All right. All right. Do we got that written down? Write down those big numbers, time and money. Another one, write down, it's not on the board, but write down how many team members are you going to need to make that happen? How many team members are you going to need to make that happen in your business, right? You need to replace yourself. So who are you going to replace them with, right? Okay. 5 keys to successful business. The number 1 is leverage. There's 4 types of leverage. There's leverage of people and systems and technology. These are all kind of leverage. Leverage of other people's money. Leverage of marketing. You know, your marketing strategies that are firing. Like if you're running an ad and it's bringing you in more profit than you're putting in that ad, you're getting an ROI. That's leverage, right? Your sales and marketing. So that's leverage. Some people think that sales and marketing is expense. Most small businesses, I ask them, how much is your marketing budget? They go, budget? I don't have a marketing budget, but I spent $9,000 in marketing last year, right? They did their taxes at the end of the year, and that's when they caught up with their books, somewhere around April of the next year, and they see the line that their CPA wrote or bookkeeper wrote on there, and it says, marketing $9,000. Then they asked me, Tom, is that good or is that bad? I said, I don't know. Is it? What did you spend last year? Oh, $9,000 last year, right? Well, how much should it be? How much your marketing budget should be? Huh?
Depends on what you get out of it.
That's right. Depends on your ROI, right? So some consultants will come into a business and they'll say, your marketing budget for your type of business should be 9% of your revenue. And I say, BS. Because if I got a marketing strategy that we can create an unlimited marketing budget, how many people would love to have an unlimited marketing budget? Right? Okay. How would you have an unlimited marketing budget? But Tom, I don't have unlimited funds, right? I only have so much money, right? So imagine if we had a marketing strategy. This is my unlimited marketing budget machine. So if I have this machine and I go and I put in $1,000 into this machine and out the other side comes $3,000. Right? Who wants this? Right? Everybody wants this machine. I put in 1,000, I get out 3,000. Right? 3,000 in sales. Right? So right now, the next question is you got to know like how much is the profit from $3,000 in sales. So hopefully your margins are more than 33%, so that you're making a profit. Right? So if you're making a profit, what would be the next question you would ask about this machine? Yeah, great questions. Like, what happens if I put in more money? So 1,000, what if I put in 2? Will I get back 6? 3, will I get back 9? Right? What was the other question? What'd you say? Oh, how? Yeah. If it runs, I'd be running it 24/7. 24/7, right? What else questions would you have about this machine? How much does it cost? Do you care?
Yeah, because the machine costs,
Right. Well, I say the machine is $1,000. You put it in and boom, boom, boom. Right. Yeah. So, right. That's what I'm getting to. Yeah. The next question is, where do I get one and how do I get a second one in case this one breaks? Right. So, you always have to be paying attention to what your marketing strategies are doing. Because if you're putting $1,000 in and you're getting less than $1,000 back in profit, you have a marketing expense. So if you have a profit coming out of that, you have a marketing investment. Now here's where CPAs get things wrong. They put all marketing things under expense. That's the way they're supposed to do it. So you save on money on taxes. But I want to qualify it as, I want all your marketing efforts to be an investment. So you guys are all members of the chamber. The chamber, right? Is everybody a member of the chamber here? Everybody's a member, right? Yes. So long-time members. I see a lot of time. You guys spend a lot of time, money, and effort to be members, right? Is that a marketing expense or is that a marketing investment for you? The only way to know is to keep track. How much businesses have I gotten from being in the chamber over all these years? And it doesn't have to be in a week. Some of your businesses are a lot longer sales cycle, right? It could be years until you realize, like, oh, I've been in, I was a realtor, maybe I'm in there for a year and a half, and now I get a commission of $30,000 to sell a home. Is that worth it? And will we know how much this costs? Yeah, it'll be worth it, right? So it'll be worth it. So some of you are trying to, a shorter cycle. When are they coming in and get the car fixed, right? Boom. That's a lot shorter cycle. So you got to know these things, so you got to keep track. So you got to test and measure, okay? So if this was advertising on MySpace, and you're still spending money on that, you're probably out of business. We're all friends with Tom on MySpace, right? You guys remember that, right? All right. I think if you're a band, does it advertise for bands now? I think that's what it's become, right? Is that right? Yeah. So if you're a groupie, go there. All right. So we want it to be an investment. You got to learn how to test and measure. So for every single marketing strategy that you do, create yourself a little sheet and know where your leads are coming from. And if they converted means you closed them, they enrolled, they bought from you. And that's the sales conversion rate. We're going to talk about that in a second. And then what was the average dollar sale for those type of customers, right? Because different marketing strategies are going to bring you different types of customers, right? So if you're marketing your product or service on Craigslist, your average dollar sale might be smaller than if you're advertising in a high-end magazine, right? You would expect from a good magazine like in the Foothills or at Scottsdale, here in Ahwatukee, you're going to get great customers. But if people are just shopping on price and are looking on Craigslist for the lowest price, so every marketing strategy is different. Your conversion rate is going to be different per salesperson, right? And per every single ad is different. So you have to measure all these things. Okay. So 2 important numbers you need to know when it comes to marketing. The first one is acquisition cost. So you need to know how much that customer costs you. So here's an example. If you invested $300 in advertising and you got 10 customers, that means you paid $30 each, right? So your job is to try to reduce that number. So run better ads, know what the number is. At some point, there's a law of diminishing return. It only goes down to so level. Some good. But now, if you're, this might be pretty good if you have a $1,000 product where you make $400, right? That'd be a great ad. But if this is, if you had a $100 service where you only profit $25, you're hosed. You're losing $5 for every customer you bring in, right? So acquisition cost of a new client. Next one, lifetime value. So if your customer spends $550 a year for 6 years, they're worth $3,300 to you, right? So you want to get that one up. Like when you join a gym, the gym membership might be $100 a month, but they're like, hey, we're going to give you this $250 package when you sign up. And you go like, how can they do that? They're going to lose $150 when I sign up. But they know that you're going to stick around whether you go to the gym or not. You're going to pay for 18 months. They're going to pull the money out of your account every month. So they know over time it'll pay for itself. So you need to know these things. As a small business owner, you really need to know these things. How long can you go till that gets paid off, right? How long can you go? Does that make sense? Okay, good. Okay, so let's see. Open your book here, your 3-page book, and we're going to write to the front. So we're going to talk about what these terms mean. So Action Coach is famous for the 5-way magic formula. Oh, sorry about that. There you go. Got a pen. There you go. All right. So when I meet with business owners, they always say, Tom, I want 3 things. These 3 things are the points you see here in red. More customers, clients, or patients, more revenue, more profit, right? Who doesn't want that, right? But if you look at this formula, all of those things in red are after the equal sign. That means that they are an output of the formula. That means you just can't go get a customer. You just can't go get revenue or profit. You have to work on the inputs. You got to focus on the inputs. So the inputs in this case are the leads, which is the marketing that you're doing. The marketing, right? Then how many leads you're getting in a month or a year or a week multiplied by your sales conversion rate. Your conversion rate is your closing ratio. So if you met with 10 leads this week, how many of them became customers? So if 7 out of 10, you'd have a 70% conversion rate. You multiply those together and you get how many customers you get. Then you multiply the number of customers times the number of transactions they do with you in a year. Okay? Multiplied by the average dollar sale, how much they spend with you on average. You multiply all those together and you get revenue. What's cool about compounding numbers is that when I'm going to show you on the next slide how it really grows when you use this profit formula correctly. So the revenue times the profit margin percentage. So the profit margin percentage is after all your expenses are paid in your business, how much do you get to keep multiplied into your revenue? Okay, so what are your net profit margin percentage? Will give you your profit. Okay, so where would you guys like to start? At the beginning. Okay, that's a good one. Let's do that. All right, so I have for you a sheet that looks just like this. Okay, in there. So I think that's sheet number 2. Okay, so this is for you to fill out, and then on the back, really, really small. I don't have my glasses on, but here's like 357 strategies you can use to grow your business in those 5 areas. Now, I'm going to help you pick those out. Okay, so don't worry. I'll give you one that's bigger, easier to read later on. Okay, because I can't read that, so I went and redid it, one thing per page. So I can't read that small. And I even before my eyes went bad. So, okay. All right, so let's put some numbers to this. All right, imagine a company that gets 4,000 leads in a year. 4,000 leads in a year, right? So does that seem like a lot? Who wants to do the math for me? Let me divide that by the month. What did we get that by the month? 325 leads a month? Okay, great. And by the week? Little less, right? Like a little less, not that many. So it's totally doable. Maybe it's a retail store or whatever it might be, right? Okay, and then we multiply it by their conversion rate of 25%. So out of every 10 people that came into their store, 2.5 of the people bought. Okay, 25%. That gave them a total of 1,000 customers a year. 1,000 new customers a year. This is new customers. This isn't reoccurring customers. And those customers on average came back and bought twice a year. Number of transactions, in order to work on number of transactions, we want to work on repeat business and customer service, getting back in front of them and asking them to come back into the store. Restaurants are usually pretty good at this, getting you to come back. What is one way they get used to you to come back into the store? Coupons. The sandwich punch card. Right, the apps now. They got apps. We've gone from the cards to the punching to the apps. You sign up and the frequent flyer programs, right, for the local stores, right? Even Chip at Wicked's got one now over there, right? So it's pretty cool. All right, number of transactions. Average dollar sales, 100, and the revenue is 200,000. Profit margin is 25%. Profit's 50,000. Does this sound like a typical small business? Yeah, it pretty much is. Okay. So we want to work on the 5 ways, and I want to give you some conservative numbers. Now, some of these 5 ways areas, you guys could have massive changes in your business because you're really not focusing on them, right? So I'm going to show you a formula where we're going to grow the business quite a bit using very, very conservative numbers. So imagine if we looked at some better marketing strategies, created you a unique selling proposition, and got rid of your duds, your marketing strategies that were costing you money so you can use that money in the areas that were working, right? Do you think we could get 10% more business? You get 10% more leads. 10% more leads? Could you guys do 10% better in leads? Yeah. Right, okay, no brainer, right? I'm not asking for 100%. Now, some people aren't doing anything. This could be 1,000%, but I'm asking for 10%. Okay. Now, with some sales training, you have a unique selling proposition, a USP. You have a guarantee in place. You have a mafia offer put in place. What's a mafia offer? Exactly. Can you do it with? Can you do like an Al Pacino voice? I can't either. So. Oh, there we go. Thank you, Rick. All right. So we use some sales scripts. We get you some sales training. How many of your sales staff have had sales training? 1. Okay. All right. 2. Okay. Great salespeople are always training. They're always training. They're like athletes. You always have to be training. Many times the small business owner is also the number one salesperson. So you always got to be training when it comes to sales. That's your genius. That's you love the product and service the most, and you started the business. You have the most passion, so you really need to work on your sales. Okay, so are you magnifying it so you can see it?
Yeah, I'm working each one. It's fine.
Oh, there you go. She's doing her homework ahead of time. All right, so from 25% math, 10% more is 2.5% more, so it's 27.5. That will give us 1,210 customers. That's a 21% increase because of that compounding. It's not 20, it's 21. Number of transactions, if we can get those customers to come back in, we make sure we are using our CRMs and giving them an offer to come in. We're sending out a mailer, we're calling them on, we're giving them a birthday special, something to get them to come back to my store and buy from me, right? Simple 10% is only 2.2. You know who totally fails at this? Barbers. Barbers suck at this. Hairdressers, pretty good. My hair, I get my hair cut at about 6 weeks. When should I get my hair cut? Right around 4, right? You see it like, yeah, once a month. I should because it's week 6. When you guys see me, it's like down over here. It's curling up in the front. Don't like it. It's been too busy. But if my barber would have said when I'm leaving, hey, let's book an appointment for next month right now before you leave, he would see me 12 times a year. But because he doesn't have a system, he sees me, if he's lucky, 8 times a year. So what's the difference between 8 and 12? 12 is 50% more. Who's the easiest person to sell to?
Repeat customer.
Yeah, he doesn't have to spend any money to get me to come back. But he has to spend all this money to get a new person in that chair. Steve.
Plus, there's an intangible. Those people are the ones that are always telling their friends too.
Yeah. Right.
Most loyal people.
That's right. They're your raving fans. I drive all the way to Chandler now. This guy used to be, the manager over here. I guess it's this way. Where are we at? Yeah, over here at Gentleman Joe's. But then he started his own place down on Alma School. So I drive all the way over here, and I live right here. Right here in Ahwatukee.
Raving fans is our theme for this year.
Oh.
Ginorama.
Oh, there you go.
We're not looking for that was great. We want raving fans.
Yeah, raving
that
fans.
That's actually what our meetings are every month.
Perfect. Yeah, so raving fans. We can talk about that. I have some ideas for that too, but that's a whole nother workshop. Okay. So barbers increase their business 50% without spending any more money by just simply signing me up, right? Okay, number of transactions, getting that price to go up. How is, raising your price, getting rid of discounting, bundling. Hey, when you buy those Air Jordans, we got these special 4-pack of Nike socks are normally $40, but they're only $20 when you buy a pair of shoes. You want them. Okay, yeah. Simple no-brainer. Increases the average dollar sale. Restaurants are really good at this. Really good at this average dollar sale. How do they do it? Yeah, dessert, right? First they start with, they take your drink order right when you sit down. So they sell you an alcoholic beverages right when you sit down. They take long enough for the food order to come back and then get the food where you need to order another drink before you even started your meal. So you're in 2 drinks. They probably sold you an appetizer. They're going to ask for dessert as well. The fine dining places are like, oh, would you like some espresso, cappuccino to drive home, right? They've mastered that. So they're really good at that. But how are you utilizing that in your business? You got to get that average dollar sale up. The revenue now would go up 46%. Just by 4 areas, 10% would raise your revenue 46%. We work on some profit margin savings and increase that 10%. And now you get a whopping $30,525 increase. That's a 61% increase in your business. So it doesn't matter where you are at now, plug in your own numbers here. You give it to 10%, you're going to get a 61% increase. So if you're at a $500,000 profit-making machine, now you're going to be making an additional $300,000 a year. So that's an increase in revenue, 46% in profits, 61, right?
That's how the numbers work out, or is it every case? Well, I guess not.
That's how the numbers work out on every case if you stick to 10%. Yeah, as long as you stick to 10%. Now, you're not going to get exactly 10% on every single one.
Right.
Like, you're going to blow through some of those. Like, some people never had sales training.
Right.
And we like, we took a company, their conversion rate, their conversion rate, they thought it was really high, it was 18%. And then with their staff, within 3 months, we got it to 46%, and they were the highest in their franchise in the nation. And they were selling memberships. So now they had this exponential growth that made the franchisees wealthy and rich, and bi-coastal grandparents retired them all within 6 months. So it's just how fast you want to go. So my job as your coach, when I sit down for the first time, figure out these numbers with you, what your numbers mean, and find the leaky faucet. Like, which one do we need to work on first, right? Which one do we need to work on first? It's not always sales. It's not always marketing. Marketing sometimes costs money. Usually does. And but we do need to work on it. Everybody has to market. So what happens if you had for fun, 100% increase? Here you got a business that's making $50,000 in profit. If you double the amount of leads with your marketing, if you doubled your conversion rate with sales training, you'd now go from 1,000 customers to 4,000. Number of transactions, you got the customers come back once a quarter. You doubled up your average dollar sale. Your business is now doing $3.2 million, and you're making $1.6 million. That's a plan B. We can go for that one too. If you guys want plan A or plan B, you got 61%. It's a massive number, right? So has this been done? Yes. Yeah. I can give you examples of people you might know here in town that have done this. Yes. All right. So what's possible in your business? So what you want to do is this week, keep track of all the leads. If you don't know for the whole year, you want to base this number off of a year. So if you don't know, keep track of your leads for the month and just multiply by 12. Just do an estimate. It doesn't have to be perfect exact, but get a good idea of where you're at. Okay. Who's got some questions about that? Questions about the 5 ways magic formula?
What's the easiest way to get leads? Where do you get good leads from?
Oh, that's a whole marketing. Yeah.
It depends on your business, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it does depend on your business. Absolutely. What kind of, first off, you want to know, like, who is your target market? Like, who is your target market? Who are you trying to go after? Right? Because some people are just trying to go after everybody, and they're not specific enough. So the more specific you can be, you can niche down your business to who you're looking for, the better your marketing will speak to that person when they see it, right? So if you're just like, hey, business owners, right? But if you said like, hey, plumbers that are working too many hours, plumber's going to read that and go, oh yeah, that's me, right? But if you're like, hey, business owners, you're too broad. So you want to be very specific, right? Then you want to find out, like, where does your target market hang out, right? So like, do they hang out at the golf course? Do they hang out at the plumbing supply store? Do they go to Fleming's on Friday afternoons? Where do they hang out, right? Are they on Facebook? Are they on LinkedIn? Depending on the type of business owner, some businesses prefer to be on Facebook versus LinkedIn. What magazines do they read? Like, what are they into that they're going to be reading those things? So, do they collect fancy cars? Did the car show in Monterey last week, where people have billions of dollars? You want to talk to billionaires? You go there, right? So where do they hang out? What problems do they have that you can solve? What kind of problems that they can speak to, right? Because selling is different nowadays too. So selling is not selling to somebody. It's not pitching it. It's helping somebody make a professionally informed decision, right? Being on their team instead of across the table from them, you're on their side of the table. Does that make sense? Did that answer your question, Andy? What's the best marketing? The best marketing strategy is when you've tested, measured, handfuls of them, and you always are testing and measuring because there might be one that's even better. So uh, when the baseball team right here in Arizona, they got this guy that hits 400 and he hits 50 dingers a year. He hits 50 home runs and he bats 400. Do they still have tryouts? Right? Why?
He could get hurt. Won't be there anymore.
Yeah. Yeah. What else? That's good. Yeah, he could get hurt.
He could dip down. He could dip down in production. He could go down to 214 in the dose line.
214. Yes, the old Mendoza line. He's so shitty. They named a line after this guy. It sucks. If you guys don't know what this is, yeah. So it's around 200 to 214. So what happened to this guy Mendoza? He would hit 200. So at 200 to 214, you would get sent back down to the minors. And then he'd get bopped back up and then popped back down, that they named this batting average, the old crap line after him, the Mendoza line. So if you want a copy of that, I have the whole story written out. So you don't want to be, your sales team doesn't want to be on the Mendoza line either. So another one is they have a tryout, because what if there's some other kid that can hit 500 and hit 75 home runs a year out there? You put the framework in your mind that it wasn't possible, so you didn't think of it. So coaching a lot of times will get rid of those frameworks that you have around money or what can be done. When we increased the conversion rate from 18 to 46%, I remember the corporate owned, the person that owned the franchise was a big corporate guy for 30 years. He's like, oh, it can't be more than 22. That's the highest in the country by any franchise. I said, don't tell me that. Don't tell your daughter that. You just put this framework, this limitation of what it can be. And then said, what scripts are you guys using? Oh, the scripts that the company that does 22% uses. I said, there you go. You don't use those scripts anymore. We're starting scratch. Right? So you have these frameworks that you've built around money. So, and they're mostly developed when you're a kid. When I was a kid, I told you my mom raised us with like $17,000 a year. And so when I wanted something, and my dad and my grandparents, my mom, if I needed like a new baseball glove or something, they would tell me, we can't afford it. How many people heard that when they were a kid? Like what? And they habitually, whether they would tell you that all the time. So now as a kid, when you're small, you develop these frameworks around things, money being one of the big, most important ones. And you learn that, oh, money is scarce and we don't have any, right? So now you think that money is hard to get, right? When money is actually not hard to get. But it's our own limiting beliefs. I wish I had a time I can tell you where I got over that as a kid. But like I had friends, their parents had money, and I would, like I'd go to the lake with Chad's dad, and they had a boat, and I thought that was the coolest thing, right? They had their own house. We lived in an apartment, So I think it comes with who you hang out with. So if your friends have the same kind of framework, you're gonna, whatever, good or bad, that's what you're gonna get. Right? So, yeah. So back to the marketing, you got to test and measure a bunch of marketing strategies, right? And figure out which ones were working and which ones don't. Now, sometimes when they're sucking, when I say sucking, it's an expense instead of an investment. You can improve. You can improve that strategy. Like, how many people have ever run a Facebook ad? Facebook ad, right? That first month you ran Facebook ads, was it profitable and you made money? No, right? So what happens is a lot of people will quit running Facebook ads. They go, oh, Facebook ads suck. And I can tell you, Facebook ads are great, but you got to know how to do it. So you got to test and measure your ads, the headlines, the image, the copy, right? The call, the offer, all these different things. Your audience, your target audience is doing it. I think when done right, the magazine ads are awesome because you can target, what type of person's reading the magazine and they pick it up and they read it. But some people say, well, I tested an ad in a magazine and it didn't work. But did you tweak the ad? Did you try and tweak it and try something different? No, I ran the same ad for a year. So you got to go in there and change it up. That's one thing I do like about Facebook is you can try, 6, 10, 20 different images all at once, different, and then you figure out which one works. Then you go on to which headlines work and you start narrowing it down, right? Called split testing or A/B testing. You find out what works, see what's jiving, then put those in magazines as well. Or if you start with your post. Start with a post and see what your friends are posting. They like your post or they're sharing your post. You're like, hey, maybe that would be a good ad in a magazine or billboard or in social media. So, yeah, marketing. Any other questions? That answer your question on marketing? Yeah. Marketing, what are the 2 numbers we need to know?
What are the 2 numbers we need to know? Your
Conversion
conversion
return
rate.
for investment.
What's that?
Cost and return on investment.
Yeah, the acquisition cost of a new client or customer or patient, right? And the lifetime value. So we want to get one up and we want to get one down. We want to get the acquisition cost down. We want to get the lifetime value up, right? So, good. Yes?
I got a question. The great Babe Ruth said, never let the fear of striking out keep you out of the game.
Right.
How would you equate that to what you're doing?
Business owners, how many people, when you first get your business license, sign up for a business account, you get inundated by marketing companies trying to help you part with your dollars? Like there's a bazillion ways. They call you instantly, right? So they try 1 or 2 because that person had a really suave salesperson, and then the marketing didn't work out for you. So now they're afraid to try any other marketing strategies. And they're just like, I'm going to just do word of mouth. I'm just going to do only referral or network marketing because that's what I can control and I know the budget, right? So they don't go outside of that and they don't swing for the fence, right? Referrals are awesome because the conversion rate is so high. If she tells somebody that they should be doing business with me, chances are when I meet with them, they're going to do business with me. But if it's off an ad, right, it's going to be a lot lower conversion rate because they don't know you as well. So there's that fear, right? So when it comes to marketing, there's the Babe Ruth thing too. Then, how many people have hired team members that didn't work out? Right? They didn't work out, right? So, so what happens is you spend 4 weeks, 5 weeks, 6 weeks, 6 months training this person, and it takes you away from your business and your personal life and everything you should be doing. And then they quit, leave, or get fired. And you're like, wow, that was costly, not only in dollars, but in my time and effort. So now you're afraid to hire someone else. How many people have been there, right? Like you just don't, right? So, right. So for Babe Ruth, I think those are 2 things that remind me like people give up on trying is they always have to be trying new marketing ideas, marketing changes, right? So if you're still relying on the yellow pages today, you're screwed, right? Unless that's where your target market hangs out. But I'll tell you, the yellow pages, nobody wants to pick up the new one that comes to your door or on your driveway. I remember at my grandpa Dougherty's house, the yellow pages would sit on the counter by the kitchen, by the phone. That thing was massive. But they didn't want the new one because this one had all the notes in it, had all the earmarks, and they knew how much the plumber was per hour, and on the page it was all written up. They didn't want the new one, right? So yellow pages, are tough, and everybody's on the phones, right? They're all just Google it now, right? They're going to search you by the map pack, right? So, yeah, great question.
Are there any we use ClickUp for ours so I can keep track of all my marketing as far as all of those different categories. Can you
ClickUp?
customize it?
Yeah, cool.
Are there any other ones that you would suggest?
I don't even know what ClickUp is. So is that a marketing strategy tester? Like you just keep track?
I can keep track of everything, and I can create my own columns. So I can create who it is. I can color code I've got
Cool.
Awatuki in a certain color, and then I specifically even have Awatuki business after business. I have Awatuki Leads Group. I have Awatuki, so I can even specifically know where I came across that customer
Ah, okay.
in every marketing thing that I do.
Okay. So what I use is
It's cost the sales price that they used, the date they closed, the everything.
wow, let's all research that. Click up. I mean, that sounds really cool. What I do is with my clients, I usually make an Excel spreadsheet if they don't have that, and we just put all the things that they're doing on there. And then in my CRM, for me, my CRM, I keep track of the lead source. So usually most CRMs, you guys familiar with CRMs? Client relationship management, customer relationship management. So they keep track of where that customer came from. The lead source is usually a field in there that should be filled out. Did I meet him from the chamber as a client referral? Well, that's really cool. I like apps like that. It's another shiny object for me, though. So it was really cool. How many people have that shiny object syndrome, right? Yeah, So I do too. I'm very guilty. I wrote that down because I'm going to check and take a look. I like things like that. It's good. All right.
I can even tell who's running my projects for me. So this one got assigned to Heidi. Did that one get assigned to Mirta? I know
Right.
exactly who's
So it's kind of like a CRM and
It is a
project
CRM.
management all in one. Okay, very cool. Very cool. And there are CRMs that are geared like right towards your industry, and there are some that are geared towards all kinds of industries. So
Yeah, my CRM, like I can track similar things, but strictly for insurance, and it gives me things like conversion rate and stuff like that based off of what I do. You got to track your numbers.
Yeah.
You can't,
Yeah, every business owner should have a dashboard. They need to have a dashboard. So a dashboard is how, I don't care how you do it. I don't care how it gets put together, but it delivers you the report that you can make quick decisions on your business. So like when you're driving your car, your dashboard tells you what? What's that? How fast you're going right now. Hey, how much gas you have left. Oh my gosh, there's a red light on, right? My battery's good, my battery's bad. All these different things. So what's that look like in your business? What are the numbers that you need to know, right? One of them I would want to know is how many leads are coming into my business. Well, those 5 ways are all on dashboards. That's number one. But if you have a dashboard, make sure all those 5 ways are on your dashboard, right? And then you can break it down like to which lead strategies are producing this, right? Because you need to sometimes tweak those or get rid of some and add. And then when you have a strategy, remember if you have a strategy, like I put $1,000 in, I get 3,000 back, scale your business by putting more money there, right? If I have a magazine ad that's working really well, do they have another magazine that that's similar? Or can I go to a bigger ad? Or can I put 2 ads in the magazine? Does that make sense? Yeah. Right? Right. If you do 1 workshop a quarter and you kill it, right? Like when I was a financial advisor, when I was his age, I used to do 1 workshop a quarter, and I'd fill this room at this fancy hotel, the La Valencia Hotel, and on Prospect in La Jolla. And I'm like, this is awesome. I get a lot of clients out of it. Rich people from La Jolla. Why don't I do this every month? No brainer, right? It was like, there was a lot of work to do. I had to fold all these things and mail them and call all these people. This took me all quarter. Get some interns from the fraternity house, San Diego State, get them to come down there. They call people, they fold the envelopes. We're doing it every month, right? So when you find something that works, you got to scale it. Scale it means turn it up, right? Turn it up. Right. So really good. So turn it up. All right. So dreams can really come true. So what do you need to do to plan more for your future? So if you can leave today with some things is know you got to have a dashboard, test and measure your marketing numbers, know your 5 ways numbers, right? And who's ever heard the term like whatever you manage gets improved? Whatever you focus on gets improved. Like number 1, first thing to know how you want to get better is to know the number. Like if I said, hey, Andy, I want to hire you to be my batting coach. What would be one of the first questions you ask me?
What's your batting average right now?
Yeah, what's your batting average right now? Because if I was at 350, he's going to coach me one way than if I were at 100, right? See, you got to know where your baseline is. So know where you're at now, and if you give it your absolute attention, you will get better. You will get better. Okay. You will get better. All right. So if you had more money and more time, more freedom, what would you do? What would you do? Let me hear some great, dream big, just throw it out, throw out the answers.
Build a cabin on the property we have up north that we can't afford to build a cabin on.
Okay, she wants to finish her dream. They bought the property for a reason. Awesome. How about you?
Travel more.
Huh?
More vacation time.
More vacation. Where would you go?
Anywhere there's trees and lakes.
Trees and lakes. There's a lot of those.
She said
Nice.
north.
Okay,
Up north.
write it down, but be very specific what you want.
We've got the whole family
Okay.
down there for Thanksgiving.
Right.
Very excited.
So you got to program your RAS. What is your RAS? Your RAS is your reticulating activating system. It's like the gateway. It's the doorman to the nightclub. The nightclub is your subconscious mind. So think of it as a filter of what gets in and out. So if we can program that filter for what gets in there, we program that brain. The brain is both the hardware and the software, like a computer. We can program that thing with the good things that we want. Your body will move towards it and find it. So if I say, oh, I want a new car, my body and my efforts aren't really going to work towards a new car. But if I said, because what does a new car look like? It's just a car. But if I'm very specific what I want, if I want a Porsche GT3, Gentillion blue, 21-inch wheels, black interior with red baseball stitching that has 6-speed manual transmission, you guys probably know what that looks like. I know what it looks like, right? So now you can move more towards it. So for you, what does the house look like that you want to build?
Oh, I have it.
You have it, right?
I have it.
Where's it at?
Where?
Yeah.
It's in Linden.
No, where's the picture of it?
Oh, at home on my mirror.
On your mirror. Okay, put it on the screensaver of your phone. How many times do you look at your phone every single day? It's like, I think it's like well over 200 times. It's like, I heard some.
Is it really?
Yeah, I heard some statistic. It was like 184. I think it's way higher than
It's
that.
way higher than that.
Yeah. So this is a simple way to.
That's rude.
Yeah, right. You're going to program your brain. So in coaching, we do a lot of different things, but one of the things that we do is the formula for life success. The formula for life success is be times do equals have. So have, if we work the formula backwards, have is getting clear on your goals, what you want to have, your vision. I want to have this house or cabin on my property, right? And this is what it looks like, get it very clear, and make it a SMART goal by when, and all these things. Then we work backwards. What do I have to do to have that? And who do I have to be in order to do that, right? So if you want to have average, you just got to do average. In order to do average, you just got to be average. But if you want to have awesome, you got to do awesome. But in order to do awesome, you got to be awesome, right? So I can give you all the strategies in the world to run a $1 billion company. But your B is not there, you won't get there. So where you're at today, you guys probably know a lot of these things you need to do. But who do you need to become in order to do those things is what we get out of coaching. So, yes.
Do you teach affirmations in your coaching?
Yeah, I just told you right now. So yeah. So who do I need to be? Yeah, absolutely. So I call them I am statements, affirmations. So when we're programming that RAS, remember we talked about that doorman to the nightclub, right? So how you can do it is 2 ways. One, have a vision of what you want. Hang up those pictures of what you want and program your brain by looking at it every day. At least first thing in the morning and last thing before you go to bed. Now, when you go to bed, your subconscious mind kicks in. So you have like 60 to 90,000 thoughts in a day. Most of them are the same thoughts over and over. Most of them are in your subconscious mind. Most of them are when you're sleeping. So if we could program that, your brain's going to go to work on that stuff at night. So if you look at those things at night, it's super powerful. How many people watch a scary movie before they go to bed and then they have bad dreams, right? That's what you're doing. You're programming the negative stuff. You have to put the positive thoughts in to leave no room for the negative thoughts. Negative thoughts need no invitation to get into your brain. So we can't leave any room for them.
Do you interface any of that with your creative subconscious? Are you aware of that one?
My creative subconscious? Yeah, so like the same thing, the same 60 to 90,000 thoughts. So first thing in the morning, we look at our vision board. You know, have you guys ever made a vision board? Like it could be as simple as top 3 things I want or 20 things I want for my family, whatever you want to do. You just cut them out of magazines. The quickest way now is to right click on an image in Google and put it onto one slide. It's super simple. But the magazines are great, especially if you have little kids and grandkids to do it with. It's a lot of fun. You're never too young to work on this. The second thing, so that's the first thing is you got to dream. So IVVM. I is you got to idealize what you want. Dream big. Remember when you were a kid, you used to have these big dreams and then life started happening to you as an adult, and sometimes our dreams have gotten smaller. But dream big, that's the I. Next one is V, vision. Create your vision board of what you really want. The second one, second V is verbalization. So those are your I am statements. Those are your affirmations. So write down 20 I am statements of who you are. That's the B. And those B things, they need to be said in as if you had them now, not I want. Like say if you wanted to drive a Tesla, say I'm the proud owner of a blue Tesla Model S. Say it as if you had it now, not I want. Because if you say I want, then your brain knows you don't have it and it pushes it away. Does that make sense? It's weird how it works. And it seems very strange and it seems cultish, but it really, really works, right? The guys that hit 400 in baseball, it doesn't just happen. They're picturing that ball going over the fence. They're telling themselves, I am a great batter when they get up there. So in these I am statements, you should break it down. You should break it down to things you want in your family. Put those towards the top because your significant other might see them or hear you say them out loud. What you want in your spiritual life, your physical life, your fitness, your business, these different things. I am a world traveler, right? So I'll put down these things and what you focus on gets improved, right? The movie The Secret, I saw that movie a long, long time ago. Yeah, a tape, yeah. I think I have his DVD somewhere. The concept is pretty close in the movie The Secret, but they're missing something massive. And that is you can't just sit on the top of a mountain with your legs crossed and hum your way to success. You got to do the work, okay? I'm not just saying if you go and do 20 I am statements and look at your vision board every day, you're going to be super successful. That is the foundation of what we got to train here, but you still got to do the work, okay? And put those things in place.
Hey Tom,
Yeah.
what were the 4 you said? Dream, vision?
So we got idealize, so that's the dream. We got the vision, the V, the first V. And the second vision, the V, is verbalization. And the M is materialization. So your body will start moving. These things will start happening. You'll see them start happening in your life, right? You'll see them start happening in your life when you focus on them, okay? All right, never wish life were easier, wish you were better. Work harder on yourself than you do on your job. Okay, so I have a new program that everybody said they wanted to make more money, and they need more sales. So we have a new 12-week sales program starting up. It's an hour and a half a week on Tuesday afternoons, 3:30 to 5 on Zoom. It's normally $5,000 for the 12-week course. Comes with a money-back guarantee. But if you're a chamber member, it's $100 a week or $1,200. So how many people have salespeople that need some improving? How many people that salesperson is you, right? So we have a few spots left, and you can zap this code right here and go ahead and sign up. It's $1,200. We have a weekly pay program, And I made it as easy as possible for you guys and make it a no-brainer offer. It comes with a money-back guarantee. You just pick the one pay or the two pay button and go from there. Okay. So I appreciate you guys being a member of the chamber. I'm on the board, been a chamber member myself for 7 years, and we appreciate all the members. So how can we help the members the most? Well, let's increase their sales. So if I'm driving business to your store, I can drive business to your store with marketing, but if honestly, you can't convert them, like quit spending money on marketing. So first we need to look at your conversion rate before we look at your marketing. So you're going to be tracking your numbers in this program. It's 12 weeks, only 12 weeks, just Tuesday afternoons for an hour and a half. Okay? All right. Where you'll be in 5 years depends on the books you read and the people you associate with and the actions you take. So thanks for having me here today. I really appreciate you guys spending your lunchtime with me. And if you guys have any questions, I can be open for a few more questions and go from there. Steve.
I know we talked a lot about image and ad, and there was some obviously, both Renee and I did our presentation together about that. And that's something I just want to point out that's on the script. If you might want to grab your book. Now he talks about, where you put your name and stuff. It's not only where he touched on it, I'm sure he goes way deep in it, it's how you put your name. Do you see these? You see, let's say this is an ad. Can you read this? What does that say? So this is an ad in a magazine. Instant promotions, right? So you're looking for instant promotion. What does it say? Now, what if his ad looked like this? Instant promotion. What if his ad was like this? He'd be like this. There's not, so many people do not take the time, you said, to rework. What image are you actually putting out? Just because you put your mug out there, hey, I'm Steve, I'm Tom, I do this. Does that mean, what message are you putting out?
Right.
Look at all of his books. You walk by, it takes one split second to see what each one of these are. So many people put their message, it's confusing. That's why I'm pointing out the back. That's why it's the back of the book. This is the front of the book. Too many people put the back of the book in the front.
Right.
So I just want to.
Oh, that's really good.
I just noticed how well those are right in front of our faces.
Yeah.
Every one of those.
You know exactly what they are right away. We got 18 of those books.
This is something that most people need to know.
I pick up those like home magazines, the ones for like all the tradies are advertising in, the Scottsdale one and this and that, there's a whole bunch. And I look at the ads and I do this thing called ad evaluation. I'm trained in marketing and advertising. And I look at that like he does and I go, these ads suck. And I give them a score and they're usually like well below 50%. And they say, oh, the magazine ads don't work for me. And I look at it and it's like, well, your ad looks just like the other ad. It looks like the other ad and nothing stands out. There's nothing that makes them unique. And their call to offer is terrible. The call to offer is call us for a free quote. It's like, who charges for a quote? Like what? That doesn't set you apart, right? So you got to be a little bit different. Like 90% of them, if they have a call to offer, a call to action in there, the offer is call us for a free quote or estimate. You're like, okay.
What should their call to action be, John?
Depends on the business. They got to get creative and do something that sets them apart from everybody else. I had
for Michelle for automotive, like what's your call to action?
Yeah. So what could you do to set yourself apart from everybody else? Could you give away something free that doesn't cost you much? It's a free special, like a 133-point inspection and get free windshield wipers for it. If you know if you want to get those people in to look at their car, would you not give away $10 windshield wipers? You would do that, right? Like if people did that, especially well, maybe not in Arizona, but like, when the one that one, yeah, what like bad experience. Yeah, you want to get an offer. That's called the offer. Yeah, call to action. It's got to be an offer, and it's got to be one that punches you in your face. We talked about the mafia offer. Like get them in the store. Like come in for a free this or that. Those are always good. It could be, hey, let me do an audit of your website, or whatever. Let me review your marketing for free. let me use my ClickUp program and plug in your numbers and help you develop a dashboard to see where you need to, how we're going to pay for your marketing. Oh, let's go through your other marketing and boom, boom, boom. So you do an evaluation of them, not just, free quote. A free quote is just a sales, it's a sales process, and they don't just want to be sold to, they want something of value, right? It was funny, like I don't know, I opted into some marketing funnel for artificial turf, right? I saw it on Instagram a while back, and they kept sending me all this stuff. And I was like, man, they wouldn't stop. And finally, the gal cold called me on the phone, and she wouldn't take no. And I'm like, okay, yeah, the guy can come give me a free quote on Friday at this time. I'm going to be home for an hour. Guy comes out, he's 15 minutes late, right? 15 minutes late. If you know me, I'm like, you better not be late when you meet with me. Andy knows. Better not be late when you meet with me. I'm going to lock the door. And he's like, give me a quote. I showed him exactly what I want. I had a picture from my drone of my backyard, and I had it all drawn up on my iPad, and I texted it to him. And he's out back. He said, yeah, I'll give you a quote. And then he goes to his car, turns the air conditioning on. He's out front of the house. Hour and a half goes by. Hour and a half. I got to go to another appointment. I'm leaving, pulling out of the car. I'm like, you'll have to email me your quote. I got to go. So he's like, oh, really? Oh, no. He's all upset. Right? So then this was on a Friday. I get a text on Monday with the quote in the text. Oh, based on the size of your yard, I'm going to give you a 30% discount, blah, blah, blah. And so it went from $67,000 to $48,000 for artificial turf. And I thought, there's going to be a putting grass in the back, but just like most of it. So I said, oh, okay. I said, thanks, but no thanks. That's way off from where I thought it would be. He goes, oh, where did you think it would be? I said, well, my landscaper last year told me it'd be about $12,000. I said, I thought I was buying grass and not a swimming pool. And he's like, okay, we'll take you out. We won't be calling you again, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, okay, all right. So he totally failed at his conversion rate, right? He could have used some systems that popped me out a quote much faster. There's apps for this. This is how big it is. This is how many square feet for this kind of grass, this kind of grass, this kind of grass. He was probably just trying to swing for the fence and go, how much can I quote this guy? And he lost. And he sat out there in his car for an hour and a half, sweating it out. Huh? Yeah, when you live in Ahwatukee, these guys, they swing for the fence. But if you're, yeah, okay. All right. So everybody, how many people are interested in the sales course? Raise your hand, get an idea. All right, cool. Awesome. I look forward to seeing you guys. That'll start on September 5th. September 5th, my brother Sean's birthday. Thanks for having me.